sis told you that, ano yung naging reaction mo, and how different was the reaction of mom?
Okay, so I will always be amazed at how, how my dad really took on this role as my dad. It was like he got an instant daughter when he married my mom. And the fact that he was so strict, nagalit yan dati, naka-green contact lens ako. We were already parked in the parking lot going to church. And then ready na ako, nag-church na kami, nag-drive siya kami, walang tuboy.
Contacts? You went to
I was a teen. I was 16 years old. Tapos, nag-contact na, or maybe younger, I don't even know. Tapos, nag-try lang ako kasi nga si mama, syempre nakikita ko, she's like the Madonna of the Philippines dito daw, diba? So, syempre, I'd see her like different hairstyles, iba-ibang contact lens, iba-ibang makeup, iba-ibang damit, ganyan. So, syempre nahahawa ka, diba? You get interested. So, one day, nag-try ako green contact lens. Naka-contact lens ako green. Tapos nag-park siya, sabi niya, okay, let's go to church. It's just you and me going to church today, Sunday. Ang sarap ng feeling, sobrang chill, relax siya pa yung nag-drive, nag-park kami. Oh my gosh, bigla niya akong tinignan. Okay, let's go, Dad. Pagtingin niya sa akin, green yung contact lens dito. Nagalit siya, hindi na kami nag-church. Pinagalitan na lang niya ako sa kotse for like 2 hours. Hindi daw dapat nagko-contact lens, ano ba daw yung gusto kong patunayan, ganyan-ganyan, hindi daw dapat nagle-lipstick, nagko-contact, bakit daw Sunday na Sunday, para kanino ba daw ako nagbibihis, nagkaganyan. So parang he was so strict with me. And I think, as time went by, syempre 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and by the time I left for college, I was 18. I left for college 18. Bumalik ako turning 24. By the time naman I was 24, sabi ko, feels different na if I were to move back into my parents' house. Kasi naka 5 years na rin ako mag-isa dito sa ibang bansa na hindi nag-i-English and everything.
Oh.
So pagbalik ko, paalam na ako. Anyway, sila naman yung nagturo sa akin to invest in
But how did mom react the first time you said you wanted to be independent?
So at first, she I think she was concerned about what my condo would look like. Like na-excite siya as a girl, di ba? Na-excite siya like paano ko i-dress up yung condo ko, ganyan. And then nung na-realize niya na this is it, aalis na ako talaga. Kasi college is college, pero yung real life pag uwi mo, and then humingi ka ng permission na umalis, parang, kailan pa to babalik? Parang may ganun eh. So, quiet lang siya. Tinatry niyang tanggapin, quiet lang siya. And it was, pinaharap niya sa akin yung dad ko. And then, but that was really a turning point. There were 2 turning points actually. When I graduated, my dad said, you better work, hit the ground running. Don't waste time, I even wanted to take a gap year in college and hindi na ako pinayagan, bawal. You can't waste time, you have to hit the ground running, and if you choose to join show business, that means you're gonna be in the rat race. Are you ready for that? And I guess I just did it without thinking, I just did it. I feel my way through things a lot, and so I did it and hit the ground running. And I'm so grateful for that. And another thing he did to push me, to make me strong, was to say, if you decide to live on your own, you can't come back. You have to make it on your own. If you want to hire help or you want to hire, because it's, diba, culture naman sa Philippines na may help and may driver, ganyan. Sabi niya, you get your own. You cannot borrow from our household. And I love that.
That's a second turning point.
Yes, kasi syempre nung time na yun parang, grabe naman, ganyan. Syempre parang, bakit yung iba hindi naman ganyan. But, now I love it. I love it. Looking back, I love that he was so strict because, and nakinaya ko din, tito, kasi siguro, parang, you don't know anything else naman eh. If once they teach you that way and they hone you that way, diba? Yun lang naman din yung alam mo. So I did it.
And my question is, do you really about what people think about you and your family?
What I care about is when things are blown way out of proportion. Some things are so simple. It takes a heartfelt conversation with two people who want to understand each other more and want to resolve things and want to make things better between them. What I cannot take and will not take is when the public, whoever they are, a small group of people who think they know better than the two people involved in a relationship, let's say my mom and I or whoever, right? It's when the relationship or certain, like when they say strained relationship or things like that. I mean, what family is perfect? There's no family that's perfect. It just matters how much you love each other. And it's when the perceptions are blown out of proportion that I will never understand, and I will never.
And you're not going to take that. You're not going to take that.
I will never be okay with that, and I will always come from a place and a space of love. I admire my mom. I admire my dad. I admire the people that raised me, of course. But I will never be comfortable or okay with strangers trying to get involved and voicing out opinions of things they have no idea about. So I think
you cannot be defined by the opinions of others. But I want to pick on your brains here, because we are now living in the age of social media, and partly, I'm not saying totally, but partly, when people get into the business of others, especially public figures, that's partly the nature of the beast. To dish out opinions that are very, very strong, as if some people know better than us, than you, about what is happening. So given that, because it is something that is beyond our control, what do you do in a situation where some voices and some opinions just try to define who you are, pretending to know more about what is happening? Do you ignore, or do you confront? Do you deal with it?
Me, Tito, I have a question. I asked them a question. My question is, dalawa lang yan eh. Kunyari, it has to do with something between, let's say, my mom and I, since that's the most public people seem interested.